Hi, I'm Aviva, and we live in Long Island. And Long Island is prolific with poison ivy. Poison ivy grows in people's gardens, it'll grow in forests, it'll grow anywhere that you are least expecting it. And as we all know, poison ivy, it will give, if somebody touches it, it can give you a terrible rash, and none of us want that rash. Now, I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I never knew anything about poison ivy. I knew it existed, but I never knew what it looked like. And there's a good reason for that. Poison ivy does not naturally grow in California. It grows in the eastern half of the United States. The western seaboard will contain poison oak. Poison sumac won't be in any place unless there is water, unless it's some kind of 2 or 3 inches of water, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. But that's why I never knew what poison ivy was. Now, about 5 years ago, my gardener was looking through our lawn and mowing the lawn, and he discovered that we had poison ivy. And he told me that he is not going to mow that part of the lawn anymore until I was able to get rid of that poison ivy. Now, I didn't even know what it looked like. I had to have him show me what the poison ivy looks like. The poison ivy was growing up along this big tree that you see behind me, all the way up to the branches. It was also growing along this entire fence. It was from the tree all the way through the chain link fence and beyond. Now, I decided to make this video because as much research as I've done, I haven't been able to find anyone that's been able to tell you how to identify the roots. They mostly concentrate on surface poison ivy only. And as much as I've tried to get rid of the surface poison ivy, every year I go out, I dig it up. It grows along the very surface of the land. So if you're very careful, you can actually pick it up with its surface roots. But the main root, it's very, very hard to get to it. And I've been trying to get rid of this root for a long time. And most of the time I've just had to be satisfied with getting rid of the surface roots, and it just regrows. So the purpose of this video is to, number 1, help you be able to identify what poison ivy looks like. Number 2, to be able to prevent yourself from getting any type of rash from the poison ivy, because you just don't want that. And number 3, to be able to identify the roots and to eliminate the roots as much as you possibly can. So first, I'd like to show you how I protect myself. It is working for me. I haven't gotten a rash yet, and I've been doing this 5 or 6 times I've done it, and I've really been out here. Every time I come out here, it's for at least 1 or 2 hours, and I have not gotten this rash. So let me explain to you what I do. I cover myself from head to toe. First of all, on my hands, I have 2 pairs of gloves with long sleeves. It's stuck into the glove, and it's wrapped around, and it's very tight. I do not use my leather gardening gloves for this because it'll have poison ivy on it, and I will have to throw them in the garbage, and I like my gloves, so I don't throw them out. So I'm just using disposable. I have everything that I'm wearing. I have a long skirt. Under my long skirt, I am wearing pants. Under my pants, I am wearing thick, long socks. They're not picked up. I should have picked up those socks, but I can't touch them anymore because I already touched the ivy, and shoes. When I am done with this, I take off the gloves. I throw them in a bag. This is my poison ivy bag. You do not put it with your compost. My poison ivy bag, I take the gloves off very carefully. That's why I have 2 pairs. If you want to be more careful, you can wear 3. But I'm okay with the 2. I put the gloves out. I go into the house. I go right into the shower. I scrub very hard. You have to use either a washcloth or anything that has some kind of friction that will make sure, because what you're trying to do is get any oil, anything at all that's oil from that poison ivy, you have to get it off. Now, I learned, and I know it's a little freaky, but 1 little pinhead of that poison ivy oil can infect 500 people. That to me is nuts. So I am not interested in getting that rash anywhere. One of my kids actually did get it, and he suffered greatly from it, and there's no amount of calamine lotion or hot baths or cold baths or whatever that will help you. I know that when a person does get the rash, you're supposed to wash it off in cold water, but you can protect yourself. As soon as, if it touches your skin, you do have at least 15 minutes to get it off. You rush and wash it off as fast as you can without touching any other surface and not letting that oil go anywhere. Now, another thing that's important about this poison ivy. The poison ivy is nice and shiny sometimes, which is, I'm lucky, that's what it looks like in our yard. But it can be dull. The oil in the poison ivy, and I know it's pronounced, not exactly sure, it's urushiol. That oil is found not only in the leaves, it's found in the stems, it's found in the roots. Every single part of that plant, under the ground, over the ground, contains that oil. So you have to be super, super careful. Also, even when it's dead, up to 5 years, it can still infect people. So you really have to be super careful with it. So I came out here last week just to take a little look at what's going on in the yard again, just before the summer starts. And I looked carefully and guess what I found? Poison ivy. Not even tiny little poison ivy that's growing, but a huge piece of it. Now let me explain how you identify the poison ivy. The poison ivy has these 3 leaves. They have to be 3 leaves and only 3. You've got the one leaf that's like the head, it's the bigger leaf. And then you've got the 2 that are coming out of the stem in the same spot, one on the right and one on the left. And they are basically identical size, and they should be smaller than the bigger leaf. The bigger leaf is separated from the other 2 by another stem. So I did see on a video, it's like there's a head, a neck, and then arms, and that's what that's like. And you'll see that it's there, and it's here, and it all has the same pattern. Now, poison ivy doesn't have to be shiny, even though ours is. It can be green, it can be red, it can be dull. Whatever it is, even this hard-looking branch here, the vine that it's coming out of, which looks very innocuous, is very poisonous. And we don't play games with this. Now, I'd like to show you about the roots of this poison ivy. This poison ivy was growing up along the fence here. It'll keep growing if we don't get rid of it. But it was also growing up along this tree. It grows with hairy little like fingers that come out of it, and it sticks to the tree. We got rid of it from the tree. We had to cut it. But now I see it's growing at the base of the tree again. So we're going to zoom in on these roots over here, because this is the main reason why I wanted to do this video. So if you zoom in on these roots here and you look, there are a lot of roots. Poison ivy isn't going to grow in a place where everything is clear and the only root that's there is the poison ivy. No, there's tons of roots. So you see we've got this root, and we've got this root, and we've got this root, and this one, and this one. We've got so many roots here, tons of them. There you go. Okay, so if you focus in on this, you can see here's the root. It's hanging on by a thread, and I did this on purpose. Now, what is this root attached to? It's attached to leaves. When you look at any way that they tell you of getting rid of poison ivy, they tell you how surfacely to get rid of it. You end up ripping up the leaves, and then how do you know where the roots are? I am not going to get rid of those leaves. I'm going to hold on to this as deep as I can. I've already been digging it out a little bit. If I didn't leave the leaves on, I would have no idea where the poison ivy is. Just to show you over here, I did it with this one too. This has a little bit of poison ivy on it over here. Also, I just want to show you how it looks a little bit different at the top, where it's red at the top, and look how tiny these leaves are. And this entire thing is poison ivy, even though you might not, just looks like a branch, you might not even realize. There's more all over. There's a whole big branch. Of course, I've already, ripped it off of the gates. And if you look further down where it's coming from, I'm not going to just rip this out like they suggest in some videos. I'm going to dig this out. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was informative. If you felt that you learned something, then please like it on the bottom of the video. And if you have any comments that would be extra help to anybody, then please add them on the bottom. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to get rid of the roots as best as you can. I'm not sure that I'll be able to get rid of all of my roots, but I'm going to try as hard as I can to get rid of it, because I'm getting tired of every year coming and digging them out, and I don't have a goat. Thank you. I'll see you next time.